Hello, my name is Jay, and welcome back to my Tech Vault. Today we're going to talk about stock coolers. In particular, the stock cooler for the top tier rumored Ryzen 3000 series. Now, obviously, I've been talking about this for a lot, and I apologize. I'll get back to doing a couple more reviews, but this is something I find awfully interesting. So here we have the lovely stock cooler. This one's actually broken, but we have a lovely stock cooler of AMD's Ryzen 2700X. Now, by far, this is commonly agreed upon as the best stock cooler of all time, simply just because it is above and beyond what is expected, and it does a wonderful job at doing what it does, keeps things cool, not really much overclocking room, but that's expected, and something that looks really nice, and you'd actually want to put it in your system. Also, I believe this cooler retails for like 40 bucks if you wanted to buy it separately, so it's actually a wonderful thing. Now this one, as it says, is broken, so it's not like I can sell it or anything, but this is just something cool. It looks cool, and it does its job well. But for the top tier processors in this rumored next gen series, the Ryzen 3000, there is the Ryzen 3800X and then the Ryzen 3850X. Now, both of these processors have high TDPs. They, of course, I believe it's like 125 to 130. Rumored, sorry, I should specify. This is what it's going around rumored. And that's obviously a pretty heavy TDP, especially for something that's a stock cooler. So really the question to ask, in looking at it, is what does AMD have to do to make a stock cooler for this processor? So I made a video yesterday, yesterday, talking about whether or not AMD would include a stock cooler for the top tier options. Basically, summarizing that really quickly into a couple words is that top tier stuff, usually people tend to want to overclock, and stock coolers don't really have much of a purpose there. So it's likely that they will not be included, or stock coolers may not be included in the top tier offerings. Meanwhile, the lower end offerings have a lot more draw to the budget gamer, and so therefore people may want a stock cooler, and therefore it may be included. Summarizing it very, very lightly. But the question to really ask is, what is the stock cooler, what are they going to have to include on the stock cooler if they decide to put one on there? Now, obviously, this is rumored, and this is going off into speculation, simply because the fact is that it really depends on what they decide. I personally don't think they're actually going to include a stock cooler for this processor, but this video is more of if they did, this is what I would expect. So first off, we know from the Ryzen 2700X that the top tier option had RGB and had something that actually looked quite nice. I'm not gonna lie, this thing looks very nice in the system, and it's definitely pretty hefty. It doesn't look bad at all, and it that gets its job done. So for a top tier option, if they wanted to include this, of course, I think that it would probably, the price would have to be around 550 bucks from what is rumored, because I believe their current price is around 500. So if they wanted to include something like this, something that could adequately cool the processor and still look nice, it would probably have to add an extra 50 bucks to the price, or at least the cost of the gross cost of all the components and parts. Next thing is, I would assume it'd have to have RGB. Let's be honest, if you're going to go top tier, the only reason someone's going to even consider putting something in their system is if it's RGB. The next thing is, it has to have overclocking headroom. I don't know how I can say this well enough, but basically there's no way that AMD is going to put a stock cooler on there with no overclocking headroom on an overclockable processor that's got a lot of overclocking potential. There's no way they're not going to put something that can adequately cool it. So basically the summary is that if they wanted to put something on there that would adequately provide a good option for people, that would seriously make people consider, hey, I don't want to go the AIO route, and I just want to put the stock cool on there and save some money, you got to really give the option to people that really, you have to offer something that seriously outweighs the competition. So currently, I am in possession of an unreleased product that from an unannounced company something that is a decent cooler for a decent looking that looks pretty good. It doesn't have RGB. I'll be making a video about that when I get out of whatever the embargo is for it. But as I said, there are stuff out there that I am in possession of, some of it, that does a really, really good job, especially at that high of a TDP for not that big or not that large of a size. And, you know, I think that it's definitely within the realm of possibility. Definitely within the realm of possibility. I don't know if it would be necessarily this small. Might be a little larger, a little wider. But honestly, it's not that it couldn't be done. I just think the cost may end up being too much. I actually don't even know what the product is, in particular that one, that how much it costs. So I got to figure that out. But basically, you don't know really what. I don't know. You really don't know what AMD is going to put in this, because if they decide to go the route of putting a stock cooler on there, it gets a lot more complicated than if they just, you know, put the Ryzen 1800X that I have and just put it out there with no cooler, and then people buy a liquid cooler or something. Obviously, a liquid cooler is going to outperform it, but really the question is it good? What they're going to put on there good enough that allows and seriously makes people consider, do I want to pay an extra, you know, $100 to get a cooler, or can I use the one on here and overclock it just a slightly bit less? So that's going to wrap up this video. Thank you very much for watching. Wednesday at 2 o'clock, I'll be having a video dropping. That's a pretty nice, cool thing, cooler. Yeah, if you're interested, check that out. If not, have a wonderful day, and yeah, goodbye.